So today I'm going to be replacing my alternator in the truck with a DB electrical 220 amp alternator. This one fits, you know, the 99 to 2004 F350, F250. It's the original case. It's brand new. It's rewired, bigger diodes and all the rest of it. And I think it was about $285 or so on eBay. And it actually doesn't say anything on the actual box of what it is. There's a model number here. AA12F1 is the small writing. Made in China. Anyway, we're going to slap that in the truck. There's the alternator right here. We've got one cable plug and the power cable plugged into the back, and we've got to loosen off the belt to get at it. Now to loosen off the belt, there's a pulley down here, right there where my finger is down there. There's a square hole in there where you want to get something like this big breaker bar, and that fits right down, whoops, right down in there, if you can get it in there. It's a little quirky to get in. Okay, so we got the breaker bar in here now, and basically you spin it towards the passenger side of the truck, and you can see that moving down there, and that takes the belt tension away. So what we want to do is take the tension away and slip the belt off on this side. So we're going to push this towards the passenger side, and we got some slack here. Don't get your fingers in there, and then let that tension device come back. Okay, now that's loose, and we're just going to leave the breaker bar in there. Now we got a 13mm socket ratchet, and we're going to pull these bolts off. Wow, those are tight. Feels like the original. A lot of corrosion on there. I'll clean that up later. I'm thinking I almost need to get a breaker bar on these. Yeah. So here we go. We got the big torque wrench. No sense in busting your arms off. We use the little one to finish it. One more in the back. There's three. We put some never sees on there. It's another one. You can see the white, his corrosion even comes off on your fingers. And that's because you've got aluminum and the bolts are steel, so there's an electrical differential potential that causes corrosion. It's called electrolysis. This one here actually looks really good. That's brand new. Okay. Then we're going to pop it off. I'm just going to lift it, flip it upside down here, so we can get to the connections on the back. Typically, what you'd want to do is disconnect the battery. If you're careful, you know, you can do it this way, but you have to really be careful. So to get that off, we've got to push down the far side here, and basically pull. There we go. That's the control connector. That pops out of there. and then there's a hard, it's actually rubberized connector on here that we've got to pull off. And you just want to kind of get it loose with a screwdriver a little bit, but you do not want to short out the screwdriver to the sides of the case. That's going to be the hard part. You almost want to get a plastic. We're going to get something plastic to go in there. So we got these plastic bicycle pry bars for doing tires on bikes. One either side. Try and work it up. Just pry it up. Keep working it. This is really old rubber. Looks like original. Okay, I'll pop that up again. Get the socket on there. This one's not very tight. You don't want to go crazy with this because there's a bunch of insulators inside the alternator. I'm going to put a fatter cable on here later, but for now I'm just going to leave it with the stock cable, and then you can just wiggle it, pop it off. That's it. Okay. And you don't want to, make sure you do not touch this cable on a piece of metal somewhere. So just leave that rubber boot over the top, move it to the side where it's going to be safe. Alright. Now we can go ahead and get this alternator out of here. Just lift it out. So we're just going to clean these nasty looking threads up. This white stuff on the wire wheel here. Okay, then we're going to set our alternator down here like the other one so we can make the connections. Comes with a new nut. Just going to pull that head back, pop that over top, get the nut on there. Tighten that up. There we go. Remember, don't go crazy. Just good and tight. Now we're going to pop the boot back over top of it. Seal it all in there. Nice. And we got our push-in connector. Till it snaps. That's it. Now I want to lift it up and get it into position. Just set it on top. Just rest on top of the 3 holes there. Now we're going to use a bit of Never Sees, it's called, and it's like a gray paste stuff. Now we're just going to dip one of the bolts in there a little bit. So we got a bit of Never Sees on here. We're going to take our other 2 bolts and we're just going to juggle them all together. We got a bit much on the first one, so we just want to spread that on all 3. Just on the threads on the end. There's only a ½ inch that actually goes into the aluminum of the truck. So then we can put these back. One, 2, 3. And the Never Sees is going to help it come apart if we ever have to pull this off again, which hopefully is never, but in any case. Okay, just tighten that a little bit for now. tight. That's it. Now we want to get the belt back on. We've got to push the big lever over to the passenger side. Slip that on there. Watch your fingers. Don't get your fingers caught. Pull the tools out. And that's it. So that only took a few minutes. And you can do it yourself. Just make sure you don't pop the belt off of any of the other pulleys, and you'll be fine. You also want to make sure that the number of grooves that are in this pulley, this is an 8 groove pulley, and make sure that you've also got an 8 groove pulley here. Otherwise you're going to have to take this pulley off the old one and mount it on the new alternator if you need to do a swap. So on the old one, we're just going to put that nut back on the power cable stud, and we'll just store this for emergencies in case something happens to the new alternator. Let's fire it up. Smokes that squeaky. Now we got good voltage. Squeaky valve, I have to fix the water pump at some point, but that's coming up later. Do another video on how to do that.